Okay, guys, welcome back. This viewer submitted his story. It's pretty long, so yeah, let's jump in. My experience in Thailand started a few years ago when I decided to head to the kingdom after the passing of my one true love. Once my love passed away, my life pretty much stopped for a couple of years or so, and I got myself into a bit of a rut. At this stage in my life, I was 40 years old, not a lot of excitement in my life, and fancied doing something different. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and add a little flair into my life. After doing some research on Thailand and armed with the info on what to do and what not to do, I decided to save a bit of money and chose Phuket as my destination. I originally was going to head to Pattaya, but I thought I'd try a different place first just to get my feet wet. Don't get me wrong, Pattaya looked like a single man's paradise, but as a first-timer and being solo, I wanted to take it slow. It would only be a 2-week trip just to see what it's like and see if I actually liked it or not, or if I was just going through some midlife crisis. Without saying what my actual job is in my home country, let's just say I am in the justice system and work closely with criminals from all walks of life. After doing this job for many years, I thought nothing could get through my defenses, especially all the scams you hear that can happen in Thailand. My job has also sent me to some rough countries to work with people there, so although I am not new to travel, so to speak, my trip to Thailand would be my first solo trip and first trip for pleasure, not for work. Everything was sorted and packed, and it was now time for me to head to Thailand for a much-needed break from my life. On arrival in Phuket, I was pretty much gobsmacked. All the videos and stories about this place do it no justice. It seemed like a beautiful place with nice beaches. It could be a relaxing holiday for some people, but I was not there for that type of holiday. Bangla Road is one of those places that you have to see to believe, with beautiful girls everywhere and hammered tourists. It's absolute carnage. Anyway, on my first night there, I was eager to get out and experience the nightlife. I found a bar that was close to my hotel. I wanted a bar that could be classed as my local, like having a couple of beers there at the start of every night that I would venture out. The bar was nice, and the people there were friendly, and let's just say the bar girls were very sweet towards me. The bar had quite a few girls in there as well, but as I wanted to make it my starting bar, I decided against ever bar finding a girl from there, so it would not be awkward if I kept returning. That was the idea I had in my head anyway, but like most men in Thailand, we do not do much thinking with our big head, and I failed my plan. Close to the end of my trip, I just couldn't resist the beauty of some of these ladies. Every time that I went into that bar, I would sit and talk to this tan goddess. Sometimes at the end of the night, I would even finish in her bar with her, and sometimes when I would go out, I wouldn't even make it past the first bar. I would just sit with her, talking to her about anything and everything. 3 nights before the end of my trip, I bind her. We had a night of drinking and bar hopping, and then we headed back to my hotel. The morning after, we went out for breakfast. She was telling me how much she enjoyed her time with me at the bar and how much she likes me. Don't get me wrong, she was a beauty, but I did not like her any more than a friend or a fling. I was not exactly looking to be dating anyone. I went to Thailand for one reason, and that was to have a bit of fun. She asked me if I planned on coming back anytime soon, and I replied I should be back in around 6 months. However, on my last night in Phuket, that is when things got a bit messy. As it was my last night of my 2-week millionaire holiday, I still had quite a few banknotes left, so I hit the drinks a bit too hard. I got extremely drunk, and like usual, I decided to finish my night in my local bar in hopes of seeing the girl one last time before heading home. When I got to the bar, to my disappointment, she was already sat drinking with a customer. Her friends at the bar knew about me and did their best to usher me away to a seat where I couldn't see her, but it was too late. I was not bothered anyway. I was not in love or anything like that, just wanted some bedroom fun before I departed. Shortly after I ordered my beer, this other young cute bar girl came and sat next to me. I had not seen her in the bar before, so at the time, I was guessing she was new, and as she sat with me, I'm also guessing that she did not know about girl number 1. I kept glancing over at the other bar girls, and they were giving me dagger eyes like I was in the wrong for talking to a different girl. After a few drinks and a couple of lady drinks, I asked the new girl if I could bar find her and we go back to my hotel. It was my last night, after all, and I wanted to end it on a bang. She happily accepted and went to get her things for us to leave. I noticed that girl number 1 was sat alone now, so her customer must have left. But now I have already bined girl number 2. Talk about a bad situation to be in. Once girl number 2 came back, we started to head out until girl number 1 started with a barrage of abuse towards the new girl. She went crazy, shouting while pointing her finger at us. I don't know what she said at the time, but could tell by her attitude that it was not very nice. So much for a sweet and innocent girl that I thought she was. Girl number 2, the one that I just bined, looked a bit shaken up but confused more than anything. I asked her if she was okay and still wanted to come back with me. I gave her the choice and told her she can leave if she wants. Fortunately for me, she still wanted to come back to my hotel. We got back to the hotel and had our bedroom fun, seems nothing was getting in the way of that. After, I asked her what girl number 1 said during her outburst. She replied that she was calling me a bad man and that she should not go with other girls' customers, which I do understand that girls should stay away from each other's customers, it makes sense. But she already had a customer when I arrived. What am I meant to do, sit and hope that her customer leaves? Maybe I was wrong for finding a girl at the same bar. Oh well, my trip was fun, and I couldn't wait to return. I was only in Thailand for 2 weeks, but I really fell in love with the place. Just a relaxed way of life there, something I was not used to. There was a bit of everything where I was. If I was in the mood to relax, I could just walk to the beach, and if I was in the mood to party, I could just walk to Bangla. Once I got home, I wanted to go back as soon as I could, and I wanted to interact with more Thai people. So, I took some Thai-speaking classes online. It turns out I picked it up pretty fast and easy, though I am nowhere near fluent, just basic Thai and a few phrases to help me get by. 6 months came and went, and it was time for me to get back to Phuket and carry on where I left off. I booked the same hotel and headed to the same local bar with hopes that the dust had settled after all this time. Girl number 1 was there, and she apologized for the way she acted. She said she really liked me and was just jealous to see me go with another girl. I explained to her that I am strictly here on holiday, I don't plan on getting attached to anyone. I want to be a butterfly and spread my wings. A side note to the listeners, bar girls call foreigners butterflies when they go from girl to girl, basically what we call a player. I also made it clear that I did not want to bar fine her or anyone in that bar because I like it there, and I don't want things to be awkward like last time. She seemed okay with that, and we had a few drinks together that night, but that was it. I did ask about girl number 2, as I did not see her. Apparently, she left for another bar because there was too much tension in that bar, and it seemed nobody really liked her. It seems like all these girls in that particular bar were either close friends or family, and they all came from the same province. Anyway, that's about as exciting as my first night back was. I had a few more drinks with her and then headed back to my hotel for an early night alone. The second night is where everything changed for me. I discovered go-go bars. How the hell did I miss these bars on my first trip? On my first trip, I thought they were all nightclubs, as that's what they look like from the outside, and my clubbing days are over, so I always gave them a miss. I don't know what made me go into one, but I was hooked instantly. And when I noticed this particular girl on stage, I was even more hooked. My heart was pounding, she was perfect. I tipped her while she danced on the stage, and when she finished her time on stage, she came and sat next to me, well, practically on my lap. I was buying the lady drinks, and I was loving it. It looked like she was having a lot of fun as well. All the warning signs, horror stories, and advice went straight out of the window. We sat and drank, and every now and again, she would go up the stage to do her show, looking at me while performing, and then she would come back and sit with me to carry on our drinking session. She spoke really good English, surprisingly, and I attempted to impress her with my very little knowledge of Thai. Every time she spoke to the staff or the other girls, I understood enough Thai to notice that she was switching between Thai and another language, or so I thought. I asked her about this, and she said she was speaking Eason, which is a kind of slang from Thailand. Once you learn enough Thai, you will notice that a lot of these girls speak the Eason slang in the bars. I was trying to learn both Thai and Eason at the same time, and when I would come out with it all apply to girls in the bar, they seemed to be very impressed that I could understand a lot of it. But again, I was nowhere near fluent or even close to it, just enough to get by and win me some compliments. Anyhow, back to my new go-go girl. Her name was Apple, obviously not her real name, but that was her English nickname. She was from a place called Kaken, which is in Eason, and she had a very unique look about her, different and darker from your average Thai girl. She was pure beautiful. Girl number one from my local bar was a beauty, but nothing compared to this girl. After a good night drinking with her and having fun with her, I ended up bar finding her. On the way back to the hotel, we passed my local bar. I was hoping girl number one didn't see me in case she acted up like last time. Luckily, the coast was clear, but her friend saw me and gave me some shady looks. That night, we had a lot of fun at my hotel, and she clearly was not shy. The next day, I gave her some money and told her I'll come back to the go-go bar again soon. That night, I went to my local, as per usual, to start the night. I ordered a beer and sat down, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw girl number one storming over to me. She went crazy at me again. It was so weird. She was acting like I am her boyfriend that just cheated on her. The staff and the customers in the bar were staring at us. It was such a cringy moment. I explained again that I am on holiday and enjoying myself. We are not in a relationship, so stop acting like this. She kept saying random stuff while kicking me. She said I love you, but all the other words just came out randomly. It then clicked on me that this girl wasn't crazy, she was just high on something. In my line of work, you soon learn to pick up when someone has taken something, and this girl clearly was off her head. I obviously could not fight back with a Thai woman or even restrain her, as the customers will think I'm just a violent foreigner and probably try to attack me instead. I just put my money in the bill pot and left quickly. Needless to say, I never went back to that bar again, and I feel sorry for any customer that comes in contact with her in the future after that weird encounter. I headed straight to the go-go bar again to see my Izan beauty Apple. We had another great night like the previous night, drinking, watching her dance, and having fun. That night, I bar find her again and did so for the next week and a half. During this time, she was teaching me Thai, and I was improving every day at a great rate. It's amazing how much you can pick up if you actually keep at it. I had a fantastic trip with Apple and enjoyed every moment with her. She even introduced me to some of her friends and some of her cousins that were in Phuket. I was also invited to parties with her, where I was the only foreigner there, and they would find it really cute that I was trying to interact with them in Thai. Needless to say, at all of these gatherings, I was the walking ATM and paid for most of the drinks and the food, but I guess that's just normal. I'm the guest, and I'm a Westerner, so in their eyes, I'm automatically rich. But I did not mind paying. I had a great time. Spoiler, I'm not rich. I also met a Swedish guy while I was in Phuket. He had a few businesses in Thailand and was pretty well known in the area. After getting to know him more, he shared a business idea with me and asked me if I would like to invest, to which I did. However, I made it clear to him my occupation in working in the justice system and told him that if he tries to scam me, I will come looking for him. The business actually turned out good. I don't want to say what it is on here, it wasn't a bar or anything like that. But by 6 months, I started to receive money back, and it seems to be on the up and up. Anyway, back to the girl. The day before I left, I was spending the day shopping with Apple, and I bought her a 3,000 baht bracelet. Nothing special, but just a little gift. She had spent many days with me, so I wanted to show my appreciation with just a little gift. I told her not to sell it. Buying her this bracelet was just a little test to see if she still had it when I returned. While saying our goodbyes, she said to me, "You go with no one else but me when you come back." That was perfectly fine for me, as she is the one that I wanted. I couldn't exactly say it to her considering her line of work, so I just agreed. Time to go back home for another 6 months until I can come back to Apple again. While I was at home, me and Apple spoke on the phone every now and again, but with the time difference, our work, and everything else, it was pretty difficult to communicate. However, we did actually say that we loved each other. I worked pretty much every day until I could return to Phuket once again, and in 6 months, I was heading back there. I should note the time that I was home, I never sent Apple a single penny, nor did she ask me to. I got back to Phuket, checked in, and within an hour, I was heading back to the go-go bar again. There she was, stood on stage, perfect as ever, still wearing the bracelet that I purchased for her. The cashier at the go-go bar, who I became pretty good friends with, told me that Apple never took her bracelet off and rarely went with any customers. Now I know that was probably a lie, because why else would she be working in such a job if she did not want to go with customers to make money? But maybe she was telling the truth, maybe Apple was actually waiting for me. Although I have probably broken every bar girl rule in the book, my life couldn't have been any better. I was truly having the time of my life. Me and Apple picked up where we left off with house parties with her friends and daily outings. Nobody understood me in this village, and I had no experience in dealing with foreigners. I eventually found a hotel and checked in for a week, thinking finding Apple might become a difficult task. For the next 3 days, I walked around as many streets as I could with a picture of Apple in hand, asking locals and damn near anyone if they knew this girl. I was having zero success. My next and only option was to go to the police. I would have done this first, but after hearing how corrupt the police are in Thailand from other foreigners, I decided against it. However, I was running out of options, so off I went to the police station to explain what was going on. Now, you hear a lot of stories about police in tourist areas, but in small little villages, they seem to do everything by the book. The police officer I spoke to was extremely professional and was quite a high rank, according to him. He put a lot of officers on finding Apple. Although I was very thankful, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, how much is this going to cost me? 2 days went by, and the police did exactly what they said they were going to do. They found Apple. She was at a friend's house with a bunch of other Thai people and had been drinking and doing God knows what else for around 8 days straight, blowing most of the money that I had given her towards the business. She had a good life up until now and a bright future, but at that moment, her life changed. People in the town now knew she was a bar girl that was scamming men in Phuket, and I was literally the talk of the town. The town talk was, Fang chased the girl from Phuket because she had stolen his money and scammed him. In the police station, when the police brought her in and she saw my face, you could see the regret just ooze from her eyes. The police made her pay whatever of the money she came back to me, so they took us to her house to collect it. Arriving at the house, you could see that she had used some of the money wisely for her family. I guess she's not a complete waste, right? While there, I also discovered that she had 2 more children that she never told me about. I managed to recover just a small fraction of the money and some jewelry that both I had given her and that she had purchased herself. After I left the house and traveled back with the police, I blocked her from everywhere and never seen her again or heard from her again. As for the police, I wanted to repay them for their efforts, so they allowed me to take them out for lunch with lots of beer. It was actually pretty fun. I had 2 more days at the hotel, so I spent them unwinding and meeting actual nice Thai ladies and being friendly with the locals. So there you have it, tale of some but I really do love Thailand and the Thai people. In fact, I am so glad that I didn't just let this scam happen and I did something about it, or I would never have gone to Isan and found how Thai people are outside of the tourist zone. I love it up there that much that in a few months, I will head back to Phuket to see my friends and then spend the rest of my trip exploring Isan and meeting more real, genuine Thai people. Thank you all and keep thinking with your big head.